Welcome to Beginner Yoga Mobility with Global Oasis Yoga. This Track 1 class is for those of you who are new to yoga and new to movement for fitness. If you are already active but new to yoga, you will find a link for our Track 2 Beginner series in the written description below this video. This mobility class is the second of 4 in our Track 1 Beginner Yoga series. The first class is called Foundations, and while I do recommend starting there, all of the Track 1 classes in this series are interchangeable, so you can do them in any order. If you want to find the Foundations class later, scroll down in the written description and you'll find a link to all of our beginner classes there. Track 1 was created for people who are at the very beginning of their movement journey. And it has a focus on creating strength and mobility at a slow and sustainable pace. If you are using a chair today, you will follow along with the seated versions when appropriate. And when we move into standing poses, you're encouraged to stand and join the class. Use the chair for balance as needed. There will be short chair demo clips in the top left corner of your screen for the more involved postures. Before we begin today, I do want you to take a moment to acknowledge the effort that it took to show up today. That is the hardest part, and you've already done it. So as we move today, I want you to listen to your body, take breaks when needed. There are some optional props that you can utilize during class. You might find a pillow, folded blanket, or a knee pad, yoga blocks, and a chair to be helpful with, if you're using the mat today, you might find a chair to be helpful for transitioning from sitting to standing. If you don't have blocks, don't worry, 2 sturdy stacks of books will work just fine. Feel free to pause and grab anything that you'd like to use now. Position your props nearby. I'm gonna stack my blocks at the top of my mat like this and bring my bolster and my blanket to the side of my mat. If you are using a chair today, sit near the edge and stack the knees directly above the ankles. Let's begin, either seated in your chair or seated on the mat with the legs crossed. If you're seated today, you might find that placing a bolster or a rolled up blanket under your sit bones might help alleviate some pressure on the knees. If you do use the bolster or blanket, again, only under the sit bones, not under the backs of the thighs. That way your knees can rest lower than your hips. Get yourself situated and then close the eyes and place the hands on the lower belly. Most of the time in yoga, our breath is through the nose. So let's begin to inhale and exhale slowly through the nostrils. On your inhale, try to make the belly expand and make the belly contract as you exhale. This may seem the exact opposite from what you're used to doing. Most of us subconsciously try to suck our midsection in on our inhales. What this means is that we're not utilizing our diaphragm properly. When we utilize our diaphragm, we actually make our belly expand on our inhales and contract on our exhales. And diaphragmatic breathing is our body's most efficient way of operating. So try to make that happen. Let's inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Through the nose, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale now through the nose for 5, Expanding the belly. 3, 2, 1. Contract for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contract for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. You can release the hands from the belly, place them on the knees. Take the right ear and drop it over to the right shoulder. As you do this, gently press the left shoulder down towards the mat. Continuing to breathe through the nose. Release that side stretch of the neck and take it to the opposite side. Left ear to left shoulder, gently pressing right shoulder down towards the mat. Head back to neutral. Take the right arm, extend the right arm, and then draw it across the body over to the left. Use the left hand to create resistance, stretching the outer shoulder on the right side. Release the stretch. Take that to side 2. Sitting up tall here. Gently releasing. Place the right hand outside of the right hip and draw the left arm over the left ear, finding a side bend here. We are trying to keep our chest forward rather than rotating down towards the right knee. If you find that your chest wants to rotate down, roll the shoulder open and maybe walk the hand closer to the hip and straighten the arm a little bit more. Gently release and change sides. Keeping the right shoulder rolled open, chest facing forward. Inhale, sitting back up tall. We're going to move into a little bit of spinal mobility now, but before we do that, if you're seated on the floor, place the hands behind you, lean back, and change the cross of your legs. Okay, so now it's going to feel like your legs are crossed in a really awkward way. Focus on both of your sit bones, your bony bits, pressing down towards the ground or towards the bolster. Lengthening through the spine, drawing the top of the head towards the space above you. We are going to work on seated pelvic tilts. Now, I would like the shoulders to be relaxed away from your ears. What this is going to look like, it's a very subtle movement and you're probably not going to be able to detect it very easily in the video, but hopefully you'll be able to make the movement happen by tilting the pelvis forward, tucking the sacrum or the tailbone gently forward. And now release that and draw the sacrum back behind you, creating a small arch in the lower spine here. Again, shoulders are still relaxed, head is reaching towards the ceiling. And now tuck the tailbone again, tilting the pelvis forward. And tilt the pelvis back, creating a little bit of an arch in the lower spine. Broaden through the collarbones. One more time, tilting the pelvis forward. This may also feel like you're drawing the pubic bone towards the navel. And then tilt the pelvis back. Broaden through the collarbones. And bring the pelvis to neutral. We're going to add on to that with our arms and our head. Extend the arms forward, palms come to touch. Tilt the pelvis back behind you. Open the arms wide, bringing the chest in between the shoulders. The spine is arched and your gaze slightly lifts. Exhale, bring the palms to touch in front of you, tilt the pelvis forward, and tuck the chin down towards the chest. On your inhale, open the arms wide again, tilt the pelvis back, arch the spine, bring the chest forward. And then as you exhale again through the nose, palms come to touch, pelvis tips forward. Chin chucks to the chest. One more round, inhaling as you open the arms wide. And exhaling, bringing the palms to touch, tilting pelvis forward. Release back to neutral. Bring the right hand to the left knee. Plant the left hand behind your left hip and rotate the torso over to the left. Continue to sit up tall, creating space between the vertebrae in the spine. Your twist is gentle. If it feels safe for your neck, you can turn your gaze over the left shoulder. Release back towards center, and let's take that to side two. Left hand to the right knee, right hand just behind you, gently placed on the floor, twisting the torso, gazing over the right shoulder if it feels okay. Try not to use your hands to crank yourself into a deeper stretch. Instead, try to utilize the muscles in your core area. Unwind from the twist. Plant the hands behind you and uncross the legs if you're on the ground, and extend the legs in front of you. Take the right ankle and place it on the left knee. If that feels like there's a lot of pressure or your knee is lifted up high, you can support it with a block or a bolster or a pillow. You can also draw the ankle over the shin and take a little bit of intensity out of there. What we're looking for is an opening in the outer right hip here. Okay. If your ankle is on the knee and your shin is parallel to the mat, you can add some intensity by drawing the left foot towards the pelvis, bending the left knee and drawing it closer to the body. You can also walk the hands closer to the pelvis and feel the stretch a little more intensely that way as well. The nice thing about this pose is there are many different ways to configure the body, so that it works for your level of mobility today. Wherever you are, begin to release the stretch, unwind, and change to side two. Left ankle to right knee. Stay here. Or increase the intensity by bending the right knee, drawing the foot closer to the body. Continuing to breathe through the nose. Ease out of the stretch, straightening the right leg if it was bent, uncrossing the legs. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. We're going to find a hamstring stretch here. If the knee is high, support it with a block or a blanket. Forward folding over our extended leg. We want the center of our chest lined up with that extended leg. Keep the spine straight and tall. Keep the gaze forward and not down. And walk the hands towards the left foot, drawing the chest forward and not down towards the knee. In order to remember to draw the chest forward, it's helpful to keep the gaze lifted. We want to have our left leg active. So that means the muscles in the thigh, the calf, and the foot are engaged. The foot is flexed. Walk the hands back towards the pelvis. Support the right knee to lift it back up. Extend the right leg. Bring sole of left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Again, chest is centered over the right leg. Right leg is active. Walk the hands out. Keeping the spine straight, keeping the gaze forward. Create space in the collarbones, taking the action of drawing them apart from one another. Another way to think of that is to gently pull the shoulder blades together on the back body. It's not an over-exaggerated movement where we're sticking our chest out. We're just keeping a light engagement there. One more nice inhale through the nose. Exhale, walk the hands back towards the body. Let's make our way to standing. One way to do that is to lean over onto one hip or another and start to bend in the knees. Bring the feet behind you. Find your way to tabletop and come to standing. Use the chair next to you for support if you'd like to help come to standing. Take your time. Once you get there, make your way to the top of the mat. This class is called mobility. That's our focus in today's class. We're focusing on mobility versus flexibility, not because flexibility isn't important, but because it's a passive. It's where flexibility is an indication of how far a muscle can be stretched, whereas mobility is how well you can control a joint through its full range of motion, and it's more active. Okay, so that's our focus in today's class. Once you get to standing, bring the feet hip-width distance. Distribute your weight equally between the fronts and the backs of your feet and from side to side of each foot. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Lower the shoulders away from the ears. Slightly engage the shoulder blades towards one another on the back and broaden through the collarbones. Lengthen through the spine, reaching the crown of the head above you. This is called mountain pose. Draw the navel towards the spine. and take the action of reaching the pubic bone, up to the navel. So once you bring all of those muscle activations into place, you'll find that this feels like quite a bit more work than it does to just stand there. So pausing here in our mountain pose, let's breathe. Inhale through the nose, all the way to the top, expanding the belly. And then exhale through the nose, contracting the belly. If you're still seated in your chair, now's the time to come to standing. Keep the chair nearby, use it for support and for balance as needed. And if you find that you are at a different pace from me, there is no need to worry. Go at the pace that feels safe for your body today and take rest whenever you need it. Take the navel and hug it back towards the spine. Shift the weight into the left foot. Let the right toes become light. We're going to lift our knee and bring the thigh parallel to the mat. So with the core engaged, begin to draw the knee up. Again, chair is right there for support if you need it. When you get to the top, pause here. If you're feeling sturdy, you can place the hands on the knee for support, or use the strength of the hip flexors and the top of the thigh there to hold your knee up. Staying here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and with control, begin to set the knee down, the leg down. Shift the weight into the right leg. Let's repeat that. Tailbone slightly tucked, core is engaged. Hug the ribs towards one another. Keep the spine straight and tall, and the left toes become light. Lift the knee so that the thigh is parallel to the mat. Keep the core engaged and stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Softly set the foot back down. Repeating that, shift weight back into the left foot. Tighten the core area. Collarbone spread. Lift the knee. Pausing here with the thigh parallel to the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently stepping the feet together. Changing to the second side. Get stable before you start to move. Inhale, lift the left foot, pausing with the thigh parallel to the mat. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Softly put the foot back down. We're going to do one more round of that. I want to introduce a new concept to you. As you find yourself gaining strength, you'll want to try to balance a little bit more. In balance poses in yoga, it's recommended to find a focal point, a stationary focal point in front of you. And before you begin to engage in a balance pose, gently gaze at that focal point and it will help with your stability. So on this third round, find a steady focal point in front of you. Probably not me because I'm going to be moving. Something else. Softly gaze at it. Engage the core. Tuck the tailbone just a little bit. Shift weight into left foot. Right toes become light. Lift the thigh. Continuing to softly gaze at your focal point if you're trying to balance. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the feet together. Side 2. Get set up. Strong core, focal point, shoulders back. Engage the core again and lift that left foot. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Similar movement, but different. This time, we're going to be lifting the heel towards the glute. Okay, we want our knees to stay in line with one another. So we're not kicking the thigh behind us or in front of us. Knees are lined up, thighs are zipped together. Shift weight into the left foot. Core is tight, focal point is discovered. Lift right heel towards the right glute. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Side 2. Before you start to move, set everything in place with the tight core, the focal point, and the spinal alignment. Reach the left glute towards the right, left heel towards left glute. Make sure your thighs are lined up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, 2 more rounds of that same thing on each side. Setting up for success. Weight comes into the left foot. Bend right heel towards right glute. Holding here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Weight comes into right foot. Left heel to left glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet come together. One more round. You might start to notice where you're getting work done in the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Shift weight into left foot. Right heel, right glute. Slight tuck of the tailbone still. Collarbones away for 3, 2, and 1. Last side, last time. Left heel to left glute. Breathing through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Feet come together. Come back to your mountain pose. Reaching the crown of the head up. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Chest is open. Weight is equally distributed between both feet. For this next pose, if you have sensitive knees, now is the time to place a folded blanket or knee pad about halfway down your mat. If you have extremely sensitive knees, you can also follow along with the chair option for this next one. We're going to do what's called a half sun salutation. Begin by inhaling the arms out to the sides and up overhead. Gaze at the palms if it feels okay for your neck. As you exhale, open the arms wide again, hinge at the waist, and find a forward fold. You can walk the hands down the thighs if you'd like. Finding a depth that feels engaging but safe for you, keep a micro bend, at least a micro bend in the knees. Once you find your forward fold, you can allow the head to hang heavy and allow gravity to separate all of the vertebrae in your spine. You can allow your arms to dangle. You can also grab opposite elbows. Pausing here in a forward fold. Make sure your weight is still equally distributed between both feet. And then press into the ground with the feet. Come all the way to standing, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. When you get to the top, open the arms wide again and inhale, reaching them all the way up above the head. Follow the palms with your eyes and exhale through the nose. Hands come down by the sides. That is 1/2 sun salutation, A. Let's repeat that. On your inhale, open the arms out to the sides, reach them above the head, gaze follows. And on your exhale, swan dive the arms out to the sides, coming forward into your fold, using the hands for assistance. This is also an opportunity to utilize your blocks if you'd like. Let the head be heavy. Legs can be as bent or as straight as they need to be, again, to offer a little bit of engagement at a safe level. Press into the ground, bend a little bit deeper in the knees, and roll all the way to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once you get to the top, the arms come overhead, and then you exhale. The hands come back down to the sides. Watch the screen for a chair option on this next one, again, if you have pretty sensitive knees. Okay. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, let's meet our forward fold one more time. We're going to stay down there this time. And we're going to step back into a low lunge. Blocks are here for support if you'd like them, blocks or books. And I'm going to see if I can navigate around my cat. Bend into the knees enough so that your hands can come either to the ground or to the blocks. And step back with the right foot, okay? Once you're back there, lower on to the right knee, hopefully on your knee pad if you need to have one there. Press the torso up and place the hands on the knee. Also, use your chair here for support. The back toes can either be tucked or you can untuck the back toes and have the top of the right foot on the mat. If you're using the knees here, if you're using your hands on your knees, you're pressing the top of the right foot into the mat to help you find stability. You're also keeping your core engaged to give you more stability as well. You'll notice that my hips are directly stacked above my knee. To move on to what we want to do next, I'm going to rock my hips forward so that I'm lengthening through my right hip flexor here, the front of my right thigh, and feeling a deeper stretch there. Heel toe your front foot, your left foot, as far back or as forward to make sure that your knee is either stacked above the ankle or behind it. We don't want our knee, for this pose, we don't want our knee in front of the toes. There are other times when we will do that, but now is not one of them. Holding in this lunge stretch. Next, we're going to come back to our forward fold to change sides. So plant the hands back down on the mat or on the blocks and tuck the back toes if they're not already tucked. Lift the back knee, again, holding on to the chair if you need to, and step the back foot forward to meet the front. We're back into our forward fold here. And now let's change sides. So again, deep bend in the knees to allow your hands to rest on the ground or on blocks. And step back with the left foot this time. Going slowly, and safely lower onto the left knee. Walk the hands back towards the knee, and then place the hands on the right knee or the chair. Back toes again can be tucked or untucked. Press the top of the left foot into the mat. Engage the core to help you stay stable. Once you are stable, rock the hips forward and feel lengthening in the left hip flexor. Keeping your navel hugged to your spine. Engage the glute on the left side. And then release from that stretch. We're going to make our way back to a forward fold. So plant the hands back on the mat. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Step the back foot forward and find your forward fold again. Utilizing chair for support along the way. Inhale as you curl the spine, rolling all the way up. Sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale the hands back to the sides. Let's make our way back down to seated, on the ground or in the chair. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Walk the hands down the legs if you'd like. Bend deep into the knees. Plant the hands on the ground and or the chair. Stepping back into a tabletop shape. Use your hand to draw the feet back behind you if you'd like. Drop the hips over to one side or another. Sweep the legs forward. And make your way all the way down to seated on the mat or in the chair. Let's find seated forward fold. This can be a supported forward fold with a rolled up blanket or bolster or pillow on tops of the thighs if you'd like, or you can do a forward fold without the prop. Up to you. Our legs are active, calves, thighs engaged, and feet are flexed. And walk the hands down the legs and draw the chest forward. Keeping the gaze lifted. Feel length happening just below the glutes. Breathing steadily through the nose. Keep taking the action of drawing the shoulder blades together on the back and broadening the collarbones. Walk the hands back towards the pelvis and release the stretch. Let's take a moment here with the eyes closed. Place the hands on tops of the thighs. Lower the shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen through the neck. Lengthen through the waist, sitting up tall. Inhaling through the nose, long and slow, all the way to the top. Exhaling, smoothly contracting the belly. One more, inhaling through the nose all the way to the top. And exhaling through the nose. Make your way all the way down to the back now. If you need to, scoot forward on the mat so that your head is on a soft spot when you land. Make a C shape with the back, and vertebrae by vertebrae lower all the way down, slowly using your core to support you. Once you're all the way down on the mat, bend the left knee and place the sole of the left foot on the ground. Pause here. Attempt to press the lower back into the mat so that it makes contact, and then lift the left toes off the mat and draw the knee towards the chest. Reach around, grab the left shin with the hands, and stretch here. Continuing to breathe through the nose. Release the grip, straighten the left leg, and bend the right. Pause with the right foot on the mat. Press the lower back down into the ground. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Lift the right foot, bringing knee towards chest, and reach around for support on the right shin. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Release the grip, straighten the right leg. Take the feet as wide as the mat. Let's rest here in final resting pose. Just for a moment of silence. Bring the hands down by the sides. Allow the body to completely relax. Allow the pelvis to feel heavy. Allow the chest to feel heavy. The cheeks to feel heavy. Abdomen releases. Let's breathe here for a few more moments of stillness. Slowly begin to bring the feet together towards one another. Bend the knees, press the low back into the mat, bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the ground, and then roll on to one side or another before making your way to seated. Use the top hand to press into the ground to help you get up. Bring the legs into an easy cross-legged seat, or you can keep them extended in front of you if you'd like. Place the hands on the knees. Relax the shoulders again. And congratulations, you have completed the mobility class of our beginner yoga series. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was encouraging to you to continue with your movement journey. This class is meant to be repeated over and over. You'll notice a timestamp in the description below where you can skip over the introduction the next time you do this. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.